Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, and welcome to another wish list / mod list video where I want to talk about specifically a tab in the game where I would like to see things modified and changed as a mod, or overall wish list option to be completely changed as the game is in vanilla. So today I want to talk about the economy tab, or what I like to call the finance tab. So I already mentioned in my previous video that I want to get all the industries in their own tab under domestic. So obviously this page will be completely gone, so we won't worry about it. What I'd like to see, as I said already, I want to see the name of this tab changed from economy to finances. Right now we have sectors and budget. I want to have budget still as a tab, but I also want to have spending and income as a tab. So there's a reason why. I know setting a budget, because you're setting up your expenses and things like that. But the budget is going to be, you'll understand as I say. So what I'd like to have under income is the ability to add and remove a tax. I want to be able to select a tax from a drop down and apply it and have it impact parts of our domestic policies and things like that, where like I want to put on a gun tax. Anyone wants to buy a gun, $500 as a one annually, or as a one time. They're done. Boom. I want to put in a VAT tax. Boom. Any tax that I want, I would be able to apply in the income tab. And it would have a breakdown of every single tax that you have and how much money they're estimated to make you and things like that. There you go. I would like to be able to set a multiple tax rate. So right now, we only can tax everyone at a 22.5%, for example. That's it. Personal income tax, it's just set. I can't change it to, for example, I think it's proportional taxes is what it's called, where you're taxed in proportion to how much you make. So, which is like most places. So that's your low income and high income taxes. So for example, here in Ontario, if you make less than $42,000 a year, you're taxed at 20%. If you make above that, it goes to 32%. Then it goes up to 49.1%. If you're making above, I think it's $120,000 a year. So I want to be able to set those tax rates on the high, and even change the numbers too. Be like, hey, anyone making under this dollar value, change it up or down, is taxed this percentage. Anyone who makes up between A and B, this percentage, and then B and C, this percentage. I'd love to have that. I would love to have the ability to actually have specific spending on healthcare, police, fire, and schools. The reason why I want to say this is because I want to be able to be like, hey, build this many this many research facilities to boost and give me a bonus to my research, a la Supreme Ruler. I want to be able to put more money into the police so I can crack down on dissidents. Because say I'm in a country here like Chad, that's not the most stable country in the world. So I want to pump more money into the police and maybe make them more militant. Health, obviously, I want to be able to put more money into healthcare. People get healthier. Baby boom. And then, like I said, fire. Fire maybe. That could maybe do something as well. But that's the whole thing, right? I want to be able to build X amount of schools, X amount of police stations, X amount of hospitals, elderly care facilities. So that'll have impacts on things like, our overall research, our population, if it's going up or down, like our birth rate, death rate, all sorts of other stuff. How much people, like how educated people are, how many, like what they'll get into when it comes to the industry and things like that. Have programs in our income or even in our spending, which I'll get to, where those specifically will influence people. Be like, hey, the government, we're going to spend money. Here we want to do a program. Okay, cool. Click program. With the programs tab, we can say, hey, push the trades. Hey, push. I'm going to go to the sectors here, for example. Push working in the oil industry. Push working in the electrical sector. In beef in our agriculture, our rural programs. The game's not paused. push people wanting to be into research, etc., etc., etc. Be able to spend money in our spending tab for grants, and government programs to push people to work in specific areas. If we see that, hey, not enough people are working in industry A, we should have a program or a boost that we can use for a certain amount of money, for as long as we want, as long as we have the money to push that program or push that industry so people will go work in it. I want to have the ability to set funding for specific agriculture. So spending money specifically on roads and rail, kind of a la Superpower, Supreme Ruler. But I also want to be able to spend money specifically on airports, be able to build more airports, ports, be able to put more money into them. Because as Canada, for example, if I put tons of money into building petroleum refineries, I could probably sell better refineries. Natural gas, be able to ship it out of the country to people that need it. That will be good. Because I already mentioned logistics, want to have behind the scenes shipping. I want to be able to also do in our spending section, investments in other nations. Be able to be like, hey, Belgium, I'm Chad. How you doing? I'm going to give you this much money I would like to invest this much money in your mining, your mining industry. And then we get basically a return on we get an ROI on our investment. We get a dividend basically paid to us until as long as, obviously that's going on. Like I already mentioned, taxes. Have the ability to have a CRA, here it's the Canada Revenue Agency, or most people know it as the IRA, and have them have abilities, rules, regulations where you can say, hey, I want you to do a mass investigation or a mass review of everybody in the following province. I want to be able to actually tell the IRS or the CRA, be like, hey, I want you to investigate that specific political person. Like this political party, that political party, this specific industry, the military, what have you. So that, we can have a little role playing with our character. A lot of things you'll notice is a lot of role play with the character as well as I like to roll things in a little bit. So be like, hey, we'll just use the Canada Revenue Agency as a thing. Be like, hey, I want you to investigate for me our gas sector. Specifically our natural gas. We don't seem to be making as much money off of it as we would. So they say, cool. And then for, say, a couple months, you get random events that pop up that depending on how you respond to said events, it will positively or negatively impact, as time goes on, that industry and how much money you're making, or even the industry as a whole. I want to be able to do broad internal taxes. So, like I've said earlier, set import-export duties, set up specifically gas taxes. So, tax on specifically gas. Emissions tests, emissions on industry. Specific taxes on industries themselves. So right now, we can set a tax of 1.66% on gas. But this is the industry. I want to be able to actually be like, hey, I want specifically anyone producing gasoline, you pay this tax. If you're using natural gas, no big deal. Gasoline specifically. Or even say, hey, anyone working in this industry has to pay this following tax. So we kind of already have those taxes when it comes to like this, but I think this is just too general. So I want to specifically say, hey, for example, the gas industry, specifically, we'll say people producing gasoline, you have to pay this much in a tax on the oil that you're getting. Then you have to pay this much of a tax on your emissions from you producing the gasoline. And then, hey, everybody else that's buying gasoline to put in their vehicles, you have to pay this much of a tax. So have both a consumer tax and then a industrial tax, I guess you can call it. Basically, more taxes. I want to be able to tax everybody for everything. I want to be able to see also who, like right now, I know I have $1.8 billion in debt. I want to know who owns my debt. I want to see if it's internal or external. I want to see how much of this is government bonds that people from my own country have bought, and if I can pay those bonds back. I want to be able to see, hey, who my people that I owe money to, whether it's bonds or other governments, and be able to negotiate with other governments, other businesses, like actual maybe internal businesses that have just taken on and bought some of the debt. Be able to negotiate with them, be able to reduce your interest rate, your monthly payments, etc. Kind of like, hey, maybe you need a credit counselor. I used to work for a credit card company. So I want to see who has your debt, be able to negotiate with them, reduce your APR. I want to be able to change internally my own interest rate, be able to increase it or decrease it depending on what's going on with the country. I want to heat it up. I want to cool it down. I want to be able to, in the income tab, or even probably the spending tab, I want to apply for loans. As a country, I want to be able to reach out to the IMF and be like, "Hey, can I have some money?" Or reach out to reach out to the Bank of Canada and be like, "Hey, can I have some money?" I want to be able to set how much money I actually put towards my debt, so that way I can be like, "Hey, I want to increase it or decrease the amount I pay." And if, a lot of countries say have your debt, or even one country specifically, it will impact your relations with that country, or the IMF, or your banks, etc. Like right now, it's telling us yearly we're paying $89 million, or this is weird because it's like, okay, well, if this is my yearly, what is this 260.2? Oh, that's everything combined, I'm assuming. No, because that doesn't make sense, because diplomacy is 3. Yeah, I don't understand that. But anyways, so also under this spending section, I want to be able to do program funding. So I want to be able to do things like weapon programs. So basically, do programs that boost my research for the military. I want to be able to do things, program funding. So any other programs you do domestically would show up in this tab as well as an option. So if you want to do a reading program, anti-drug program, any overall government-wide programs that you want to do, literacy programs, read a book and slap a stranger program, I don't know, walk your grandmother across the street programs, health programs, hey, everybody, go eat a carrot. Have these programs in this section and show how much they cost, and I can do them. I would love to have some sort of feedback there where I can put in programs that will positively and possibly even negatively impact the country. So, for example, put in, hey, we're going to do a reading program. We're going to put more money into our educational system a little bit here, and we're going to boost our literacy and make people a lot smarter. Well, cool. It affects positively. I'm going to look at here. Our telecommunications. It affects our research, both military and civilian research. They're going to get a nice boost. Our telecommunication companies, they're going to love it. Our high-end robotics companies, they're going to love it. Our technology companies are going to love it. But our agricultural section is going to take a hit for as long as this program is running. They're going to lose out on X amount of, their production will be down this much, because why go work in a field when you can go work in an office, go work in a robotics lab. So have things like that where they have both a positive and negative impact. But obviously you always got to tweak it so it's a little bit better to do if it's a positive thing, because you don't want to make it so that it's, negates itself, right? You actually want it to have a good purpose behind it. But yeah, so that's the overall idea I have for the finance tab instead of the economy tab. I really appreciate you watching this quick little video. In the next one, we'll go over the diplomacy tab, and what I'd like to see is right now it's called the politics tab. But yeah, we're going to go over that one and what I want to do in regards to that tab specifically. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Could have been watching anything else, but you watched this video. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.